know?
I should, but I don't. I got a lot of money to go to college because I'm Puerto Rican. I should know more Spanish.
You should know more Spanish. Now, did you speak Spanish at home? Well, your mom's Puerto Rican, right?
Yes.
Did she speak Spanish at home?
My mother speaks a smattering of Spanglish.
Okay.
Like when I've gone to Mexico a couple times with them, just on vacation, and she can understand the people who speak Spanish with her, and she can communicate back at them, and they can generally speaking understand it. I think she knows, but like she never was like formally trained, and like
Okay.
her parents spoke a lot of Spanish, but like, I mean, yeah, no.
Okay.
She speaks some Spanish.
She speaks some Spanish.
But never at home.
Never,
for,
never
you know,
to you.
The
She
swear
didn't.
words.
You
Yeah,
know all the
of
swear
those.
words.
Lots of those.
Every time you guys were bad, you got the swear
Ay,
words.
Dios mío. I'm not going to say them.
Don't say it because
okay.
YouTube is live.
Ay, Dios mío is where I'll cut it. There's a couple more that come after that.
That's funny.
Anyway, here we are. Okay, so we're live on the tubes.
We're trying to be.
The
Bantha
tubes.
Podcast.
Mantha bilk.
Mantha bilk?
Mantha bilk.
Mantha bilk.
That's spoonerism, my friend.
Spoonerism.
No, shush your bush. No more of that.
Is it me or is it you?
It's
That's
me.
you.
It's me.
So I
It's
tried to hit
me.
the live
That
also.
D-O-double-G. Still mobbing around with that. Who is
Oh, so Snoop Dogg's cousin is in The Mandalorian.
it? Really?
Yeah.
Who does he play?
She.
She.
It's
They.
the wrestler girl who is Sasha Banks is her wrestling name. She's one of the owls. When we saw Bo-Katan last time.
She's the like the badass looking like, I'm a
Yeah, and she could actually like fight and stuff like that. Yeah, that's her. And then I just learned today that she is in fact Snoop Dogg's cousin. So what do you know about that?
good old Snoop Dogg. How come
Good
like
old
my
Snoop Dogg.
entire chest is cut off in the live stream?
I don't know. I can move it.
Like it looks so nice in my screen, and I look here, and all of you is there, and I got like just chin up situation. What are you trying to do to me, man?
It's your camera. You moved your camera down.
No, I'm looking right here. I'm looking at my screen.
The
I'm looking
way-
at this screen.
The feed that I'm getting from Video Ninja.
It goes all
So
the way
it's-
down to my halfway down my chest on my screen.
Yeah,
Video
see,
Ninja.
on my view of Video Ninja, it's cut you off at your chest. That we're seeing on the YouTube.
Oh, hold on. YouTube's just looked like it updated. Now I see chest.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Do
I
you
didn't do
see-
anything.
Do you see my chest now? Like, do you see this? Like my hand right here. Hello. The arm.
Your finger, I can see your finger, yes.
Cool. All right. So I think we're good. I don't know
Okay.
what just happened, but I think
I don't
we're
know what
good
just
now.
happened either. I moved. Let's see what happens now. I moved it back down again. See if it changes.
He's gone
anything.
again. Sorry, I've been watching too much Sesame Street. Where's gone again? He's gone again.
Are you watching Sesame Street on PBS or on? Is
HBO
it still on
Max.
HBO?
Yep.
Okay. It's funny because her name here, Kosha Reeves. Her name is Mercedes
Is it Koshka?
Yeah, Mercedes Varnado
Still looks okay down there.
is an American professional. Okay, good.
Pro wrestler.
Pro wrestler, and actress who also known her name as Sasha Banks is her wrestler name.
Wrestler name.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestler name.
Made her acting debut season 2 of The Mandalorian. She previously wrestled. Her match against somebody.
Someone.
Banks is also the first 1990s born wrestler to headline WrestleMania. And
Wow.
I guess
What an
IMDb
accomplishment.
doesn't say anything about that. She is. She's the favorite. Her favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
I loved Eddie Guerrero when I was a kid. He was in when the WWE the Invasion. It was
Okay.
him, Chris Benoit.
Uh huh.
Who were the other two? Oh man, there was the one dude. He was crazy. Booker T.
Booker T. Was it crazy? I remember him.
And there was one more. There was like 4 of them. I know Chris Benoit was also crazy, like legitimately.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Benoit did.
yeah.
He went crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie Guerrero was my favorite. Because I was like 12 or 13, and
you
I
could
was like,
relate to
"Hey,
him?
I'm Puerto Rican. That's cool.
That's cool.
Latino he, mamacita. Yeah, that's what he says.
That's what he would always say. I remember
Yep.
that.
Yep. So yeah,
She is cousin of rapper Snoop Dogg. She is also first cousin of music producer Daz Dillinger and singer Brandy Norwood and Ray J.
Ray J.
Ray J. So she's got lots of celebrity heritage going on there.
Celebrity Heritage, new band name.
You hear it here first.
Right
new
here.
band names right here. Dr. DeSalvio.
But they don't hear it because we haven't started the show yet.
No, that was just for the
This is
YouTube
all
only.
The
Yes.
YouTube's release.
Whoops.
Oh no!
I banged it.
No,
Ew,
don't bang
no, don't do that. All right. Do you want to hit us off with on this week's episode?
Sure.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. On this week's episode, did you want me to do?
I thought you were going to go through the whole thing.
No, you didn't tell me what to say.
No, I always just make it up.
Great.
Hold on. Let's start all over. All right, just do the first part. I got something.
Okay.
I got something.
On this week's episode,
Baby Yoda controls IG-11. That was pretty bad.
yeah, it was. These are
I don't
these
like
are weak.
that. That's weak. What was what's his name? Khan, the from Marvel, the guy who he's just like the head inside the giant body.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror.
No, because Kang is the other guy. Because what's his name? Plays him. Patton Oswalt.
Marvel head that controls.
This is all really good stuff for
This
the
is good
people
stuff
watching
for
this
YouTube.
right now. Yeah.
MODOK.
We were not even close.
No, we weren't even close. We were so far from close.
MODOK.
All right, here we go. Now let's start the show for real.
You got this?
You got the
something?
first part.
All right,
Yeah,
you got the second
first
part?
part.
Okay.
I have to cut that out.
On this week's episode,
MODOK takes the form of Grogu and IG-11? What? That makes no sense.
start the show.
Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
If only we could take these intros and come at them beforehand with some thought.
Some thought.
And, like, maybe
Do we
write
put
something
any
down?
thought into this at all?
Malice aforethought, I think, is the only
I
thing
know.
we put into this.
That's all we do. That is. Oh, I didn't even get any news. I'm sure you have some news, right?
There's lots and lots of news. People are reacting very positively to this week's episode of The Mandalorian, which we'll talk about. Look at
Okay,
that.
there we
Look at
go.
that
You
news.
can handle all that because you're in on all those social meds.
All the meads.
What are the social? By the way, hello, welcome to Bantha Milk Podcast.
We're jumping the gun.
We
here.
are jumping the gun.
Hey, did you make sure that people can read our delightful sign in the background?
I think
it automatically
it's
does that, right?
readable
Readable.
now. Yes.
Hey,
Oh,
we're
be
Bantha
real.
Milk.
Be real. It's time to be real.
Oh,
You already
let's-
did be real.
Did I?
Yeah.
Then that was a long
Unless that
time
was
ago.
yesterday's Be
Do you
Real.
think-
You can be real with us, folks, here on Bantha
no.
Milk Podcast.
We're gonna be real.
We're being real right now. If you want to be real with us, hit us up in the DMs and you can join our
Hit
Be
us
Reals.
up in the DMs. Oh boy.
Yeah, we don't have many Be Reals. I especially don't. So I will gladly be your Be Real friend. And you can see what I do most of the time just sitting on the sofa watching TV. That's most of my Be Real posts.
To be fair, sometimes you have some really delightfully. What's the word I'm looking for? They capture your good light, is what I'm saying. Your hair and your face
My
and
hair,
your beard,
the
and you
beard
just
and
kind of
my
wake up and go,
chin,
look at
I
me.
just-
This is real.
This is
you
real.
Wanna be real?
Yes,
This is real.
This is what real life looks like.
This ain't no game. This
Nope.
This is called be real, not be fake.
Not be fake.
Anyway, so we are Bantha Milk Podcast,
Yes.
as you can see by the sign behind me.
Yes.
Unless you're listening on places where, because this is a podcast.
A podcast.
Right? We just do this little sparkle of our faces as just kind of a fun little side
Yes,
quest.
not very visual podcast.
Yeah, but
is.
if you're listening to us on Spotify or anywhere else you get podcasts, you might not have heard the absolute cluster fudge that was the intro of our show today.
It's all on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, so I already started my particular Bantha Milk of choice. What do you got over there, Rob?
So you have your fancy Bantha Milk over there.
It's whiskey.
Whiskey.
It's
It's bourbon.
Yeah.
I have from Sky Gazer Brewing Company.
Ooh.
Watercolors, raspberry blueberry cheesecake cream ale.
There were so many adjectives.
There
in that.
were. And
So
look
you
at
said
that.
Stargazer Brewery?
Stargazer Brewing Company.
All right, so I'm looking them up on the interwebs right now, and it looks like they're from North Haven, Connecticut.
North Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, look at
Yes,
that.
they are. This is a 5.57% alcohol. It is called Watercolors.
Watercolors. Yeah, you're really
Yes.
digging in on all the
I'm digging
consonants.
in on the yes because I say it with a Philly accent. Yo,
Say it. I want to hear it.
Watercolors.
Do you say water?
I
Are
do
you a
say
water
water.
guy?
I'm a
All
water
right.
guy. Yeah. So
How do you say bagel?
bagel.
You're a bagel guy.
Bagel.
All right. Yeah. So
Bagels.
yeah, I mean, you
Wait,
grew
no,
up around
bagels.
here.
Bagels. Bagels.
Yeah.
Bagels.
BEGG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, you grew up really close to Philly.
I did. I grew up
on the
right.
shore, so-
Yeah, I grew up right above Philly. So, and all my jobs were in the great northeast of Philly. So I had that thick northeast Philly accent.
Did we ever, by the way, check the levels on YouTube to make sure we're not blowing everything?
Who cares?
Yeah, not me. I'm
They
just
they
wondering.
can turn their volume
That's
down.
true.
That is true.
So
All right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Wait till you see this.
Oh,
This
God,
is why it's
oh,
called
yeah,
watercolors.
That's
Look at
pink
this.
AF, man.
Oh my goodness, it's like pink and it's almost like the blue milk that we had.
Oh my God, make it stop! It looks like it's frothing.
It is frothing. It is thick and pink and quite interesting.
Thick and Pink, new band name. I'm on fire here. Man, that's horrifying. So can you give me those list of adjectives again? And can
yes.
You
So
like,
I can
annotate
tell
a
you
little bit?
all of the flavors that are supposed
Right,
to be
buckle
in
up.
this. Buckle up. There's a
Here we
lot
go.
of them. I need to put my readers on because I'm an old man.
Yes.
Raspberry, blueberry,
Blue
cheesecake,
cheesecake,
and then cream. CREAMEE.
creme,
Creme.
crememe,
Creamy.
Okay.
Creamy. Raspberry, blueberry, cheesecake, creamy.
Creme.
Skygazer, creme.
Creme. Maybe that's the type of beer it is. Is it a
Maybe
creme?
I never heard of a
So
creme
it is
beer
spelled
before.
CREMEE.
CREAMEE.
Okay. So on, did you mean creamer?
No.
There's also an Urban Dictionary creme, which involves an ice cream cone. I won't go too far into that. I'm really confused, man.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, nothing comes up to tell me what a creme is. Okay, so I just typed in creme beer, and one of the top ones is Skygazer watercolors.
Yes.
Christmas creamy.
No. This is their blueberry raspberry cheesecake creme.
Hey, if anyone knows what the hell that word is,
Yeah, let us
tell
know.
us, because we're supposed to at
it's-
least partly be Bantham Milk
Yeah.
is in our name.
It's
so
interesting.
it does look
It has
horrifying.
a good smell to it.
So what's the smell? Give me
It
the palate.
smells like, from a distance, it smells like raspberry Hubba Bubba bubble gum.
Okay, that's
Like that strong
specific.
raspberry flavor. But then when you get closer to it, you do smell more beer and hops, but not like a strong hops, but just more like a beer smell to it, almost like a Budweiser, but then with a raspberry. I don't know.
Nostrovia.
So yes,
Bottoms up.
cheers.
Next year in Jerusalem. What do we think?
So it's cool,
Cool. What is that like? Cool in
like
groovy,
rad,
far out?
dude.
Rad?
Yeah,
Okay.
like cool. Like it definitely has a strong raspberry bubblegum flavor to it in the beginning. There's some
Would you
left in the can. Do you want to try it?
Yeah. Would you describe it as like refreshing?
Yeah. I would say refreshing, but it's also like thick.
Refreshingly thick. New band name. Man, I'm on fire. All right, here we go. I might need a palate cleanser. Hold on, let me drink some water and
Yeah,
get the whiskey taste out of my mouth.
It's interesting.
All right, here we go. I'm not a very adventurous beer drinker, so this should be.
Try it. It's yeah.
Huh. That doesn't suck.
That should be its tagline.
like-
That doesn't suck.
I wanted really badly to not like this. Like I
Yeah.
really was hoping I didn't like that, but I really don't mind that. That is really refreshing.
It is really refreshing. It definitely has a lot of like raspberry bubblegum flavor.
Yeah, but it's no more sweet or like saccharin sweet
Yeah,
you can
no,
get
mm-mm.
than like mixed cocktail. Like
Yeah.
sometimes with the beers and the like bottled drinks like that, they're just too much sweet and like too much tart and so like but like that's it feels like a cocktail almost. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
It is nice. Creamy. I don't mind it. I like it.
So here
I would
you
give it
are.
a high. I would give it a high score.
Yeah.
I would give
Give
it
it
like maybe even a very low Leia.
Low Leia, new band name.
A new
Man,
band
we're
name,
dig-
Low
we're digging
Leia.
in. If you're
You
a
are loving the
diehard-
band names.
Yeah, if you're a diehard here, you know what we're doing right now. If you're not and you haven't been around for a while, you're like, what the hell are they talking about?
What are you talking
A
about?
low Leia. All
Yeah,
right,
Leia. Yeah,
Leia's a pretty good. Leia's. Yeah, all right.
Grogu then Leia,
Yeah.
or Yoda then
Yoda
Leia.
then Leia, right?
Yeah.
Grogu would be like the platinum tier.
It would be the platinum tier.
All right. Yeah, low Leia. I could get with that.
Yeah.
For sure. This whiskey is outstanding. It's the same whiskey I drink all the time. And it's in a delightful cup that, or glass, I should say, because I'm an adult. That
I'm an adult.
Yeah, adults
Kids drink out of cups. Adults drink out of
That's
glasses.
right.
You learn something new every day,
That's
folks.
right. But Rob set this aside just for me.
I did.
The
I
whiskey
found it.
glass.
Yes, the whiskey glass.
Right, so when I come to Bantha Milk headquarters, right out here behind Ears Up
Yep,
headquarters,
in the trailer behind Ears Up headquarters.
I will have my own little whiskey glass ready for me to go.
Yes, you will.
Which we should, I guess, before we get into Mando talk about our social meds and all of the places you can catch the stuff and the things.
Yes, so hit us up with all the social media.
Yeah,
you know them all.
Don't catch us on Twitter because who the hell wants to go on Twitter anymore? But you can catch us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/Bantha Milk Podcast. And you can also check out our group, facebook.com/group/Sacred Jedi Texts. Instagram, we are on at Bantha Milk Podcast. We can also be seen for whatever reason on TikTok. If you want to see Rob make a delightful fool of himself.
Yep, that's what I do best.
Delightful fool. That's what we dub him. That's another good band
Another good band name. Delightful Fool.
Delightful Fools. Either way, check out our TikTok. Or just check out our website, banthamilkpodcast.com, or send us an email. Talk to us about Rob's beard, which is still around and
Still
getting
here.
fluffier. I love it. At banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com. And check out our friends at Ears Up. Rob's going to talk
Yes.
about them.
Ears Up, with or without the hyphen, podcast.com.
Ears with a
Check
Z,
them
though.
out.
Always
Ears
the
with
Z.
a Z. Always with a Z.
Ears with an S Up podcast, or Ears Up with an S network. They're a completely different thing.
No, you won't get.
You want to put on
won't-
your private browser if you go to that one.
Yeah, definitely. Check out whitehouse.com.
Incognito. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go there
Oh,
during
boy.
school.
There are unfortunately people who we're gonna get some tech stuff this year. Why are people going
Anyway,
Go on, Ears Up.
Ears Up in Depth is the other show that they do. We have Scraping the Vault. We have The Supreme Resort. We have Puny
I
Pod
had Taco
and
Bell last
us. Taco Bell.
I had 2 cheesy gordita crunches and crunchy taco, and you know what I get every time, and I
No.
love, and it's stupid, cheesy roll up.
Cheesy roll up.
Yep.
Is it just cheese rolled up in a taco shell?
Soft taco shell cheese rolled up like a little burrito of its own.
Okay.
Like a little cheese cigar.
Now, is it like dropped in the fryer or anything or no?
They heat it up like
They put it on
press
the flatbed that
Yeah.
they use for the nice.
Yeah, it's really freaking good. And like for when you're like driving home and you're really hungry and you just get 2 of those and you just
I like it. Sounds like a plan. There's
Bantha
a
Milk Podcast brought to you by Taco Bell.
brought to you by Taco Bell.
Liv Moss.
Chris
Is that
Hutch
them?
just texted in. When would the last time that you had? Oh, what did they say?
When's the last time you had Mexican food? Isn't that what it is? Yeah. So that's my buddy Chris.
There you go.
Hi Chris.
Hi
Thanks
Chris.
for joining us.
So ironically, I had Mexican food today.
What'd you have?
Not from Taco Bell. We went to this place down in Sicklerville, and I had a burrito. It was Burrito
burritos.
Texicana was the name of theirs.
Surf
it had-
Taco makes some good burritos.
Do they?
Yeah.
It had chicken, steak, and shrimp with a mango sauce,
Surf and turf. Love
which I loved.
it. Mango sauce. All right.
Yeah, I was like, I asked her to bring out hot sauce also because I like it with like a mild
You like
kick
it
to it.
spicy?
I like it spicy. And he also just said peed before he logged on, so he can stay with us the whole show.
Thank goodness.
He doesn't have to get up in the middle of the
I don't
podcast
know if he's
and
drinking. He might still need
take
to
a real
anyway.
commercial break. If he's drinking some watercolors by
Oh yeah.
Skyland
Sky Gazer.
Sky Gazer, then he definitely will have to pee because this stuff is very interesting. Very, very interesting and delicious. So so they were good. Good tacos, good burrito that I had. I liked it a lot. So there we go. So on this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we talk about Mexican food.
We sure do.
We sure do.
As we oft do. Check out our other sister podcast, Bantha Leche podcast, where all we do is talk about Mexican food.
There you go.
So anyway,
Chris is having fun. Chris, just keep the chat going for us. We get a lot more.
be the change you want to see in our world.
That's
Chris.
right. Be the change for us, Chris. All right. Do we want to hit some news? Nick apparently has some news about this episode. He said people liked and didn't like and all that good stuff.
Let's
hit some news here.
Star Wars news.
First bit of news is I still don't own a PS5.
Me neither.
And coming out very soon, actually within the next 2 weeks, is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, starring a elder Cal Kestis in his journey around the galaxy. So that's our first bit of news. Second bit of news is that people really like this episode. Boom. Let's get into The Mandalorian.
Let's get into it. I'm just looking over some Star Wars headline stuff that I got from
Anything good?
The Acolyte, everything the cast and showrunner told us about the mysterious Star Wars show.
I saw something about them saying that they are not going to be kind to the Jedi in the Acolyte, right? That is one of the production notes.
Okay.
Is that it's not going to be like a kind look at it. It's not like the Jedi are the good guy and the other back. They're going to, I guess, probably explore the less savory side of the Jedi.
At last week's jam-packed Star Wars celebration, attendees and those keeping up online got updates on a number of upcoming shows, including Andor Season 2, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew, in addition to the reveal of 3 live-action movies. But one of the more mysterious projects remains The Acolyte, a Star Wars show from Russian Doll showrunner Leslie Headland that's set to debut sometime next year. Those attending the convention were treated to a first look, which showed brief glimpses of characters played by Amidala Steinberg, Lee Jung-jang, Carrie-Anne Moss.
Whoa. Amidala, you stumble over, which is a Star Wars word, but Lee Jung-jang, you just swing right through, problem.
No problem at all. And Rebecca Henderson, a Jedi Temple younglings being trained, a showdown between Moss and Steinberg, and a pivotal shot of a group of Jedi standing with lightsabers. It ends with Jodie Turner-Smith saying, "This is about power and who is allowed to use it." But the teaser wasn't distributed online, meaning the vast majority of the world has seen next to nothing of the Acolyte. So here, IGN will cobble everything we get from the Star Wars Celebration panel. So there we go. The plots, the cast and characters, whatever. So that's a real brief overview. That the show that you were talking about,
the
Acolyte. Yeah,
that's the one right there.
That's the one right there. Did The Mandalorian just drop Star Wars' first F-bomb? No,
It didn't.
It did not.
This is why we don't do Star Wars news every time.
Yeah,
Because we're forced, no, they didn't. Next news article.
yeah. I want to say, he says, "Bad baby, no squeezy." That much is confirmed. But then the creature says something else
Is
very
that
quickly.
Gizmodo?
Yeah. Almost throwaway. The subtle just refers to as speak Azilian, but it actually sounded like deep breath. I'm out. MFer. Here, listen to yourself in a clip posted by Star Wars Show's official Twitter account.
Baloney.
He did not say it.
Baloney.
They wouldn't even get out of that. But it was funny. Bad baby.
Yes.
Bad baby was
squeeze.
funny. No squeeze. All right. So that's, I don't know, whatever. Live action TV series recap. Star Wars movie has infinite potential. Star Wars on Twitter. Hey, guess what? The Mandalorian streaming. All right. I got nothing else exciting.
And that's all for Star Wars news.
And that's Star Wars news for you, folks.
Star Wars news.
Great.
And
now we can get into why you came in the first place.
That's right.
Why Chris and the millions of others of our subscribers
millions and millions
are
of
in
others
our chat right now. It's something special when we can share this with all of you. Anyway, it was a good episode. I love it. So what was that name of this episode? The Spies?
This episode was The Spies.
The Spies,
plural.
Not just one spy.
Not just
There
one
are several
spy.
spies.
We know of a single spy.
Which spy?
The girl,
what's her name?
Khan. The girl who's spying for, we'll get it. Something, she's got letters. The one that's spying for Moff Gideon. The one that
some combination of consonants and vowels.
Yes, that turned the dial up
to 11.
To 11.
Yeah, and that first scene with her was rad. It reminded me of Andor.
Yes, it was very much
Like,
Andor-esque.
And I think it's like the closest we've really gotten to see a probe droid like next to a human.
And how big it is in
Yeah.
comparison to a human.
And it was
yeah.
super menacing and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I really dug that.
Yeah. My mind just went blank. Yes. So, and we saw the seedy underworld of
Nar
Coruscant.
Shaddaa, of course.
Yes, Nar Shaddaa. I was
Yeah.
waiting. I'm so waiting. One of these days, we're going to see Nar
If
Shaddaa.
it's on anything, it'll be in Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
It's got to be a Hutt thing.
It's got to be a Hutt thing because they run it? Do
So
they
it's,
lead?
it's one of Nar Shaddaa is one of the moons of Nal Hutta.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure if they ever do something with that, it'll have like some deep Hutt ties.
All right. So, so we do see the very beginning that she's the spy, and Kane is what I have written down as her name. And maybe it's Khan, but I wrote it down Kane. But anyway,
Boom.
we see her meet a probe droid on Coruscant, and of course the probe droid has a red eyeball,
Yeah,
which means it's evil,
menacing.
menacing.
If it had any other color eyeball, I mean, what bad guys red,
yeah, bad guys
lightsabers.
are red. Everything red is a bad guy.
which is funny because TIE fighters shoot
Right.
green bolts and X-wings shoot red.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I wonder why that is. I'm sure there's an in-universe reason on Wikipedia.
I think probably because it was easier to color those
with
in
black
the 70s.
as the backdrop.
Yeah, with black as
Yeah.
the backdrop.
Those were the easiest colors that would show.
Which is why for the longest time they never had a purple lightsaber,
Right.
because the purple never showed when they scratched it and then painted over it. Purple didn't show up right, which is why they had all like blues and reds, because they popped out really well, and green also. Yeah. So anyway, little magic there for you. Okay. So then she's talking to Gideon, and Gideon is like, he's like, "What are you talking about? Those two groups don't like each other.
The Mandalorians.
The other Mandalorians,
yeah.
all the different families, the different Mandalorian
it's just
families
like,
are all getting
bro,
together."
I'm telling you, I got boots on the ground. Where this is what's up, bro. This is what's happening.
This is what's happening. And he says, "Oh, they're fighting." And she's like, "Oh, I'm telling you, they're together." And he said, "I'll have to take care of that."
Yeah, let's. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's on.
It's on.
You've been waiting 7 episodes, 6 episodes.
Finally, and at least we get hit with him right away, which
and
is
it's
what I
not
like.
like another all right, here he comes in the last episode.
Yeah, at the very end of the episode.
But again, I'm hoping we see in Thrawn a different approach, or in Ahsoka, because I'm tired of the big bad being like this thing we never see.
Right.
Like the big bad should be a character that we see that and in Thrawn I think we have a good.
I think we're gonna have a lot of back and forth between Ahsoka trying to find him and him building up his armies or whatever he's going to be
and
doing.
we got some really cool Thrawn insight during this episode.
Yes.
Including like continued bringing in of old universe content with like Heir to the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Because the old dude in that Shadow Council, I forget his name. But he's straight.
It starts with a P.
Yeah, he's straight from he's Thrawn's right hand.
Pelion.
Yeah, Pelion.
Yep.
He's straight from Thrawn, his right hand.
Right out
man.
of the books. Yeah, he's his right hand man in all the books.
And then we get Hux's son.
Yeah. Well,
Hux's dad.
Hux's dad.
Right. Which was a pretty cool grab from that. Oh, I know that guy.
And did you know that he was played by Hux's brother, in real life brother?
I think Pagan told me that.
Yeah, the guy who played the other Hux, their brothers who
Bill
played
Weasley.
this. Yeah, this is Bill Weasley's brother.
Which you would think would be like Fred or George
Right,
or Charlie.
but no, it wasn't. Yeah.
Or Ron.
Or Ron, yeah. Yeah, it could have been
Except
any
Fred
of them.
is dead.
Or
Spoiler warning.
the sister.
That's Ginny.
Yeah, it could have been Ginny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't. It was yet another real life brother.
bro.
Yeah. So there's not two Harry Potter characters in this. There's just two brothers of real life brothers.
It's like the Kevin Bacon game. Like how many
7 degrees.
How many degrees to Harry Potter?
Yes. Well, considering Harry Potter is just a clone of Star Wars,
Essentially.
But
wands are pretty cool.
Wands are cool.
I
I
mean,
don't mind.
lightsabers are rad, but they can't turn your hat into a dinosaur.
Right. So I'm gonna write a story of a person with a, I don't know, baseball bat, and they're gonna fall in love with their sister, and then they're not gonna fall in love with their sister because then they're gonna find out that their sister is actually their sister, and then they're gonna save the planet from bad guys. And
A lot going on here.
yeah, so it's a pretty
Baseball
weak
bat.
baseball bat. It's a pretty weak storyline right now,
I
but
think,
it'll
I
get
think
better.
the weakest part is the baseball bat. I mean,
Okay, you need
you
something
can do
more.
whatever you want with the story, so long as the prop is cool. Baseball bats or whatever.
Right.
Like laser sword.
Laser
wand,
sword.
You know, like maybe
Yeah,
instead
something
of a
that
baseball,
shoots energy. Yeah, like a wand is magical. It shoots
yeah.
magic.
So how about like a laser baseball bat?
A laser baseball bat that shoots magic out
That
of
shoots
it.
wands.
Yeah, that shoots
And
wands.
the wands do magic.
Yes. Or how about a
So
laser gun that
Imagine you're up here and you hit a ball and wands come out, just shooting
come
Avada Kedavras
all over the place? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I have a question.
Market it.
Paz Vizsla's giant Gatling gun that he has, it shoots laser bolts. Why does he have the giant belt of, like, if it was a real Gatling gun in on Earth,
It would be feeding.
it would be feeding the bullets all the
way.
way through. Do they have?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like anything is discharged out, or it would be like
You would
bullet
think-
casings
yeah,
being
like, you would
discharged
think
out.
That would be the case.
Yeah,
and
so
there isn't.
There isn't,
And then you'd think, oh, well, maybe it's to prevent overheating. No, because it overheats.
because it definitely overheats.
So maybe it's just because hey, look how big and cool this gun is. Maybe
needs-
it's power. Like
it could
maybe
be power. Maybe he has
provides
a
power.
battery pack on his back next to, because his jetpack is really wide. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Not just because he's a fat guy, but because it's just wide, and then there was something in the middle. So maybe, in
it's a
between the
power
jets
pack
is a
of
power
some
pack,
sort, because that sort of
which
a gun needs
then
a power source.
needs extra power
I'm
to be
betting
able to
that's-
shoot.
I'm betting that's the
Yeah.
in-universe explanation.
I would think so.
Man, problem solved.
Look
We're
at that.
smart.
Boom, done.
Hire
And then
us,
here's my
Disney.
other question. I'm pretty sure we asked this numerous times, but
Yeah.
every time I see it, it makes me laugh. Why do stormtroopers even bother wearing armor if they just get one shot
Even if it's
all the
Beskar.
time? I did watch one video where they explained how to come the Beskar they were getting hit.
Because it was an alloy, right?
Well, no, because they were.
They're getting
There
in
was one.
between
It was
the plates
it was
and
getting in
stuff,
between
yeah.
the plates. When it hits the plate, it was deflecting off. But
Well, why don't they make the plates bigger?
yeah, better protect himself.
I mean,
with,
I don't see like on Paz Vizsla, I don't see any like skin. It's all
no,
armor.
it's all armor. Yeah.
So like
And that's how he was able to take so much damage, because he was
until
just like a
they
tank
brought the big boys in.
until they brought the. We're all the way at the end, and that's the show, folks.
We have spoken. Oh
We
no!
have spoken.
it's,
There we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's get
Yeah.
back to trying to do this in a little bit more order, because there's a lot that happened in this episode,
Yeah,
which
this
was
a pretty
which
dense
was
episode.
very dense. A lot of big sections that were boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
hit you every single time. So we first, Moff Gideon's mad at her because the Mandalorians are getting back together.
How dare you tell me what's happening?
I'm telling you, spoilers.
No,
after
that's what he's saying.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
No, you can't tell me
This
that.
is what's happening. How dare you?
How dare you?
This should not be happening.
Yeah.
You on Coruscant as my spy should have done something about this problem in the Outer Rim.
In the Outer Rim, yeah. Okay, so he's like, well, and I love. She's like, she meets this probe droid in a dark alley where she could get captured or whatever, and he's like, hurry up, I don't have time for you. You
don't got time in
you
your
don't-
little castle over there?
in your little castle. You need the information from me, and now you're telling me to hurry up. I was like, whatever. That's such a like a
Can
Michael
you
Scott
imagine
move.
if,
Like
at
I'm in
that-
charge.
If at that point she goes, listen, bro,
Yeah.
you don't got time? You see me out here busting my... You're,
see what
you're
I'm
back
doing?
at home.
Mhm.
Right, how about this? You don't got time? I guess I'll hold on to this bit of information.
I won't tell you this
See
then.
ya.
Sorry.
Kane
It wasn't.
out.
It wasn't that important. Kane out.
You
Goodbye, probe
You
droid.
think the probe droid would then just like shoot a warning shot or two?
Yeah,
And
he
she'd
was
be
pew
like,
pew.
"My
Just start
bad.
shooting her. Yeah.
My bad.
Um.
I got out of line. Got an attitude. It's been stressful. Had to char my buddy's brain up to 11, turn him into scrambled eggs.
I befriended him just so that I could scram. I
been
want a
stressful.
spin-off series of Dr. Pershing now.
Post like
Yeah,
this.
just like sitting in a room and just being like, blah 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 blah.
You think that's it, or you think maybe he just like my vision is like when the Dementor gives you the Dementor's kiss and sucks your soul out of your body,
Okay,
and he's just like a husk of like a,
just sitting
or
there.
like after Khal Drogo gets like messed up,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he's like alive, yeah, but what is alive?
But
If
what
he's
is
just like,
alive at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So I think that's where he is now. I think he's in some padded room somewhere.
If it were the 90s, then they'd definitely do something like where we'd have like a buddy cop situation where he like goes off and forgets everything and he like is a bartender somewhere.
he would be.
Yeah.
And then it would just start like coming back to him where somebody would be trying to like rob the bar and somehow he would know how to do defending himself, and he'd be like, I don't even know how I did that.
Yeah.
It would just be
And then
weird
we find
stuff.
out he's in the Matrix.
He's in the
And
Matrix.
he's actually Keanu Reeves. And it's
Keanu.
the Matrix 5. Did you see the Matrix 4?
I did.
Terrible.
It was.
So bad.
It was like they were like, hey, let's try and make a conclusion. Even though we already made a conclusion, let's make a different conclusion.
Yeah, and let's make it suck. we know everyone hated the last one. Wait till you get a
Wait till you
load
get
of
this one. At least they fixed Rocky 5 with Rocky Balboa. They made the Matrix even worse with the last
They
one.
did.
It was like I just remember like the first one you were like, whoa, what did I just watch? And then the second one you're like, okay, maybe that makes more sense now. And then the third one you're like, why?
Well, at least it's over.
Right. At
And
least
then
it's
the fourth
over.
one
And then
comes.
20 years later they come out, let's fix this.
Gotcha.
And they made
what's
it work.
funny is the fourth one is essentially just like making fun of the fact that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, isn't it funny that we don't need to make this movie, but corporate media wants us to make money, so here we are.
So here we are. And it came out
You
during
bought
COVID, so
You
it was
bought
like
it. Look
released
at you.
online.
You're
yeah.
our little money puppets. Isn't that funny?
Isn't that funny? All right. And that's the end of our other
Let them eat cake.
podcast about
Um,
things not named Star Wars.
yes. Back
So,
into Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars. So then we see Moff Gideon walking down the hallway with a whole
Sing,
bunch
do
of
a diddy diddy dum diddy do. And a little overkill on the security.
yeah.
And do you think each one of those guards is like they look at the time and then their shift is over and then they got to like go back out that way
And
then,
like the first two guards have the least amount of security. They only have one red laser door protecting them. At least if you're the last ones
you think that
closest to,
they're the highest ranking
Yeah,
people
yeah,
all the way
and
at the end.
all the way at the end.
They
But
get the
they
cushy
just have to
jobs.
stand there all the time waiting for Gideon to say, "Okay, let's go."
I think maybe it's all a show. Like they're actually just mannequins. He wants
Or
to seem like
Do you just? Or
He
you
has a
think they're
lot
just
of-
all the armor just like sitting there, and just the armor is protected? The guys are actually sitting upstairs.
yep.
Just
They
playing.
propped it up. I'm
yeah.
totally at work, bro.
If, the first time seeing those blast doors since episode 1, he says.
Oh yeah.
But it was funny seeing all that, and then
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's because it's like the same blast doors as in the Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are fighting.
yes, and they're waiting for the red doors to open and open
Right.
each
I guess
time.
those would technically be ray shields, right? I think that's ray shielding, which anyway.
And
yeah.
did
like
you
that.
also notice that like it was a pathway over top of a hole of some sort? And once again, no railings because there's no such thing as railings in Star Wars.
And why is there such a long drop?
Right. What is the
What is
drop?
the-
What's the point of the drop?
You couldn't put like I don't know anything down there. Just
Right,
like
like-
what if we drop your phone?
What about the guy who's trying to put the armor on and then he like loses his balance and he falls all the way down? Like
that?
I don't know, whatever. You drop your phone, yeah, it's like worse than dropping it in the toilet. There's no nets there to protect it.
Nope.
You know,
It's like putting your sunglasses on a roller coaster, man.
yeah, don't do that.
No.
Or adjusting your hat. That's a bad idea also.
Johnny Jalopy hat, by the way, I like it.
Thank you very
It's
much.
fresh.
It is fresh. So the Shadow Council, he finally goes and meets with the Shadow Council. They're all complaining a little bit. It is interesting, the Shadow Council, because all these different warlords are secretly all together, which we don't know about.
Right, and yeah, they're trying to frame their existence as like, hey, we're just rebel, like we're still remnants of the Empire, but we're just individuals trying to claim our but there's not like they're trying to like not let on that they're actually organized, and it's been
Yeah.
organized by Thrawn, but they're reaching that point, I guess, where Thrawn has been gone long enough that everyone's like, well, what the hell? Maybe he doesn't exist. Well,
Yeah.
this is stupid. Maybe
And-
I should be the leader. Maybe
And
you
Moff
should be the
Gideon
leader.
is like, look, I'm smarter than he is, so just make me the leader already.
Yep, and I've got the sweet freaking armor.
I do. I had this almost looked very reminiscent of Darth
It
Vader.
did. It really did.
And he's like really trying to be Darth Vader
I'm
with
sorry,
the cape.
My allergies are going nuts, so I'm over here like, oh my God.
I understand it's the 4 dogs upstairs, I'm sure, are bothering
Well, yeah, but they've been going crazy pretty much all day anyway.
you. Okay.
Either way.
Either way. So he's in there. All the warlords they're actually working together in the same way that the rebels did when the Empire was in charge.
Right.
So now they're trying to do the same thing, keeping all the little factions together. Chris did say, question, when Moff goes to the center of the circle, stepping outside. I know what he's talking about. Outside of the place in the circle, does that mean that half of them only see the back of his head?
So I'm wondering if there's like technology that just follows his face and like does the smart thing where he's like, but like that is because you think about like on the Jedi Council when people are like holographing in, and they just holograph in the right spot. Like, is there like all those other chairs just set up that way too in their spot where they holograph?
And yeah, everybody has all the holographs in. So every room is a round room with all the chairs set up in the right spot. Because the other people didn't seem to be moving as much as Gideon was. Gideon was walking all over the place.
So maybe he's just got fancier tech. That
He
can
probably
and
does.
They're all
That
like
can
in their
track
little
him.
square little.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to stay right here. And you know, because even Palpatine doesn't have that fancy tech.
No.
Because if you think back to Episode 1 again, when Darth Maul steps into the picture, it's as though he kind of like is standing just behind the hologram projector's field, and he steps in like, look at me.
Do you think Moff Gideon does? Because then he said, yeah, but he turns a bunch. Do you think it's kind of like in Zoom when you're on mute again?
Hey, you're not facing the camera.
Hey, you're not facing. Hey, Moff, we can't see you. Moff, you're out of the camera
and
again.
then suddenly there's like the backdrop is Hawaii.
Yeah, it's just a
like,
screen of Hawaii behind him.
Darn, what happened? How did I get this?
How did I?
Gideon's just on his armor, like, hold on.
I gotta change the backdrop.
And
Here we
then
go.
and then his face turns into a cat.
And
you're like, I'm just gonna leave and come back, guys.
I'll be
and then he
right
ends
back.
the Zoom.
And then he ends the Zoom, and then he comes back again.
I just basically reenacted a Tom Cardy bit that I watched the other day. Go listen to Tom Cardy; he's funny. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, yep. So and the other guys always glance at each other too when they're making remarks. So they
You think
almost
they're
have
glancing at each other, or you think they're glancing off screen at like their buddy out, like off the camera who's like videotaping? They're like, "You get a load of this guy." Now.
I think it's just a real fancy Zoom where it's all holographic Zoom. But
like
you know
that.
what's funny?
Holographic Zoom, new band name.
Yeah, I love how the holographic technology is like so cool, but at the same time, it's still like
Sucks.
It sucks.
Like, can't they work on the definition of?
Yeah,
of
it's
the,
like it's very
and
low
it's got this
definition. The little lines going through it.
I guess like it is sending signals across a galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've proven that using the Force you can get better quality.
Yes.
Right? Because when Luke does it using the Force, he gets like 1080p, 4K.
Right. He looks
HD
like he's right
resolution.
there
He can even
until
pick stuff up,
yeah.
but it kills him.
It kills
so
him.
like
yeah,
this is why it's still so crappy because no one wants to die just so they can see their Aunt Tilly on Tatooine.
Right. Did you what Silicon Valley? Did you ever watch Silicon Valley?
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh, so funny. He said in 5G still unwatchable in this era. In Silicon Valley, there was a whole scene where this one guy was meeting with like the head of what would be like Google or whatever. And first he's trying to holograph in, and he's got this holographic chamber. And he's like, in the middle of the very first sentence, it like cuts out. And then the guy's like, what the, come on, get to, and he's like, fine, we'll try Zoom or whatever it was. Like, it was just like a video chat.
Skype.
So then they close the holographic thing, and then they go to Skype. And he's like, can you hear me now? He's like, I can't believe we spent $2 billion on this holographic thing, and nothing's even working. And then Skype cuts out on him also. And he's like, just call him or just call me on the phone. Like he's trying all these like fancy things.
Well, it's like the classic Spaceballs bit where they warp him down and his ass is on backwards.
It was on backwards.
And then they warp him back and he's like, I'm gonna walk.
And it's one room over to the next room.
Lock 1, lock 2, lock 3, lock Loman. It's one of my favorite movies.
I love Spaceballs.
That's right. We did a review of it. Didn't we?
We did. Anyway. All right. So the Shadow Council, they're talking about how weak they are, and trying to work together. But then two of them, what's the one guy's name? Paleon and Hux, both apparently are getting all the good weapons and stuff.
And we find out that Hux is the head of Project Necromancer. Which again, you think necromancy, bringing back from the dead.
Right.
Right. So this has got to be something leading towards Palpatine / Snoke.
Yeah. So, but then they ask Gideon, well, how is your cloning coming? So Gideon,
I don't do that.
And he's doing his own cloning, not related to Hux's cloning, and he's not even sharing information with Hux.
Yep. But he essentially says to them like, no, we all stay in our lane. None of us do things that we're not supposed to. Right, guys? And
right,
they're all
guys?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is really funny, and it even goes into, even Palpatine as a whole. He built the Empire with him in charge, and then everybody else is always like fighting to be the best. Like even younger Hux is like, I don't care if I win, just as long as Kylo doesn't win, And so
well, it's kind of like the rule of two, right? It's
Yeah.
like there's a master and an apprentice, and it's known that eventually the way that the master is not the apprentice becomes the master is by killing the master.
killing the master.
And like the master knows that going into it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the point. And so like that's how the Empire functions. Is like everyone's trying to cut each other's throat to get to the top, and everyone knows that that's happening to them too.
Yeah, but where the Jedi Council is, they truly tried to work together, as opposed to where the Empire is just built on this real crumbly pyramid, and everybody's always just fighting to get to the top. So we got that. In the book, The Aftermath, did you read that book?
No, I just downloaded Heir to the Empire.
Okay.
And I'm going to be listening to that audiobook over the next couple days.
All right. So in the book, The Aftermath, they talk about what happened after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
When the Republic takes over, there's apparently a riot right away, and then that's when they also come up with Operation Cinder,
right?
Which was the Empire assaulting all the planets that the Empire was in charge of to make sure that the rebellion, the rebels who won the war, can't get any resources out of it. So,
and that was actually, they showed that a little in Star Wars. Was it?
It was an earlier. Well, they did a little bit.
Video in one of the video games.
In the one video game,
I forget which one, but they show bits of Operation Cinder too, where like, Palpatine is dead, and it's like the contingency plan for when he died. And
even Johnny Jalape's favorite actor in Star Wars, from Mandalorian in season 1, Bill Burr, talks about how he says it in this one scene that all these like battle, thousands of people were destroyed instantaneously, and it was all part of this Operation Cinder that they were talking about. So that was in that, and then Jakku was the final war of the Empire, the final battle, which is where we see all the destroyed ships because it took place over Jakku. So that was that final battle. And Brindle Hux is the father of Huxon, played by his brother. We talked about that. Thrawn will be the new super leader. Thrawn was
big bad.
Yeah, Thrawn is played by the guy who voiced him in Rebels in the Ahsoka series, which ironically, speaking of brothers, is the brother of the person who played Galen Erso.
Oh, Galen Erso.
Galen Erso.
Which one was Galen Erso?
The dad.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
No.
No.
What's his name? I know here. Mickelson?
Yes.
Yeah, something Mickelson, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yep.
So Thrawn is the actor who plays Thrawn is this brother of Galen Erso. So that's pretty funny. Chris said, very, very curious if Daddy Hux lives to see his son be General Hux, or if he dies leading his son to want to avenge him or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be, because I know there's a lot of that storyline already fleshed out in some of the books, because I know Poe Dameron's parents' family, like heritage, is chronicled. So I don't know. I'll have to look into see whether that's actually like they get into that or not. But I feel like we know a little bit about Hux already.
Okay.
In the Aftermath, but that's a Wikipedia thing for sure.
Yeah, and then we meet Paleon, which, as we said already, is Thrawn's apprentice. Mm-hmm. And in the books, he's huge in the books. So it is.
Yeah, these are expanded universe books because these were pre-canon, pre-Disney.
Right. But it is cool that they're bringing them all in.
Yep.
And he's so one of the YouTubes that I watched, he was talking about how the circle that in Moff Gideon's wasn't a complete circle because they were missing people like Palpatine and Thrawn. But Paleon was there representing Thrawn, so I think his theory was a little off.
I would be willing to bet there are some people who didn't make it, right?
Right.
But I don't think there would be a place for Palpatine because Palpatine is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, this Project Necromancer thing, I'd imagine they're getting something going.
They're trying to get, yeah.
You know, Palpatine's not around at this point. They wouldn't leave like a chair for him probably. But I would imagine be other people who would be at this like meeting. Who aren't
there. Yeah, other warlords who were too busy warlording to make it to this meeting.
Warlording.
Warlording, yeah.
I like that.
So then back to Navarro. And this was funny when an Imperial shuttle flies over top of it.
Yeah, and apparently that's what bounty hunters, the Mandalorians do. They just tag their their things they steal.
So it was. I was wondering. I'm like, I wonder how many people it took to paint that giant mythosaur on the bottom.
Do you think
of
they
the
have
ship.
like a stencil?
They have to. It was
Like
perfect. An enormous stencil. They're like, let's roll out the stencil, or somebody's like,
a droid that they just program in. Like, hey man, we want this design.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put it on the bottom, and they just all get to work on it.
And then it gets
Maybe
that's
Star
probably
Wars. That's probably what they did.
That's probably what they did. The new and old. I wrote down the new and old Mandos meet and about to fight for the umpteenth time when the armorer bangs her weapons together and they all stop. So all the different clans that we now find out that they hate each other so much, which would have been more useful to find out. Yeah, we have a guest down here. And now she's gone. She didn't.
Very sneaky.
Very sneaky. So all the different clans all meet up, and everybody doesn't like everybody else's ways.
Yeah,
So
especially the chess rules, man.
Yes.
How dare you play chess different than
Don't
I play
play chess that way.
Let's
That's not
fight.
how chess is played.
Let's fight. I'm taking out my knife.
Well,
Let's play.
you're getting ahead of the game a little bit. That's when they're on the sail barge.
But it's the funny. It's all connected, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like the two different tribes.
Mhm.
They have different rules for this silly game, and they're willing to like fight over them instead of just like going, all right, that's how they play it.
That's how they play it. Yeah. No. Empty
It's
chairs.
basically the helmets, right? Like
Yeah.
they're the same thing, except they always wear their helmets.
Yeah, they wear their helmets and you take yours off.
But like, let's fight about it.
Let's fight about it because I don't agree with the way you do things. Chris has a lot of comments tonight. He should be
he's
just
going
on the
for it.
show.
You
Empty
got
chairs
some
at the
wine in
empty
your hand,
table.
buddy?
I know, right? So how much would that paint cost? He asked about painting the whole bottom of the ship. That is a lot of paint, and it's got to be heat-proof too. Titanium laden paint.
I mean, yeah, they're going into hyperspace.
Yeah.
Right? They're probably they're going to be like entering atmospheres and
Yeah.
stuff, right? So it's got to be able.
It's got to be. It's a very very special
re-entry.
paint. Yeah. And where they feasting on? Oh yeah, were they feasting on the dragon chicks? That's another one that someone else brought up. Also was
I don't think so.
they were having a feast. It
But
wasn't
maybe.
but they made such a big deal about raising the
gonna raise
dragon
them, yeah.
chicks. Yeah, that I doubt that they
You
would.
know what
Then
else they raise? Farm fresh freaking.
they sure
meat.
do banthas and whatever
Yeah.
else they have
We
out
raise
there.
them nice and good. And
That's
then
right. We eat them
tender.
good. So then when the Grief Karga is like, no, that is not an Imperial shuttle. Obviously, it's Mandalorian. Look at the giant mythosaur skull on the
So I
bottom
think
of
that
it.
the Empire should realize this and just start painting things on the bottom of the thing. No, that's not the bad guy. Let
No,
him
look,
in.
it's a good guy. Look, they're here for
Boom.
us. Boom. No, they're not. So Grief Karga comes out to meet him. He gives Mando some alcohol. He's like, here, share this with your friends. And then he gives our good friend Norman a new...
a movable, usable Rock'em Sock'em robot.
It was. So I'm like, and it was funny because we talked about this last week. Like, this would be a waste of a storyline if the IG-11 unit is not brought up again.
Yep.
So they bring it up again by making this
Like,
IG.
well, you're not getting the character back,
Right.
But here are his guts for your little toy plaything that everyone loves to sit in and run around in.
And now it's even more fun. This is
yes,
a
no,
new.
yes, no,
Yeah.
no.
So he gets in, and that's not IG. What did you do to IG-11? That's IG-12.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So then he says, "And why don't show them at all in the little camp? Look, don't ruin this for me, Chris. They didn't eat the dragons. They ate something else.
The dragons are getting their own Mandalorian helmets.
That's right.
They're
Grogu-
they're younglings.
And then this is we talked about on because that one article about it. But Grogu wanted to play with the Angeline, and he said, "Bad baby, that was crazy." And that was the same thing he said before. Was that was crazy when when Grogu picked him up and was like shaking him. And the question for you: does this count as Grogu's first words?
No.
It's the first time he's
no.
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 No, no. It will actually be no, and then yes.
No, I mean he has binary options of yes or no, black or white, this or that. That's fine, but like it's not his voice. He's not saying things. I thought that the machine could like translate your thoughts into. I thought you could like speak through it.
Okay,
I thought that's
right.
what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It looks like it's just got some like
It
simple
just has a
yes,
couple
no sort of
red
options.
and blue buttons there for no and yes.
No, I mean he has certainly like done this before to say yes or no. It's
Right.
just it's like my dog. We have a little like bell, right, like a button at our back door, and he pushes it and it rings, and we know he has to go out.
I know yes,
But
yeah.
I don't think he talks.
And our dog can one of our dogs can hit the button that says treat.
Ah,
But if we leave it on the ground,
treat.
he just
treat,
keeps
treat.
going.
Oh.
And I'm like, he would go through a whole bag of treats. He hasn't been like, no, I'll stop. He's like, nope, give me more.
It's a dog.
It's a dog, yeah. So you think no? No squeezies.
No squeezy.
No
Yes,
squeezy.
right.
I don't know. I want this to be his first. I wanted his first word to be like frog.
I think this is all like just a build up to when he does say something.
Right,
You
when he
know,
does
we're
say,
getting
"This
these
is the
tiny
way."
Little things. He's
Yeah.
been babbling more.
Mhm.
We got a yes no thing, but like I think at some point he will actually talk. It's gonna be weird though.
It's gonna be like
gonna be
Jane Silent
weird.
Bob. It's just gonna come up with something very, very.
Now there is some talk about like because if you think about his age and like parse things out to later on, like the new Jedi Order when Rey is around. If he, assuming he survives, he's around 90 to 100 years old,
Right.
which is when Yoda became a Jedi Master,
Mm-hmm.
when he was around 100 years old. So people are saying, oh, in the new series, when Rey is building the new Jedi Order, he's going to find Grogu, Jedi Master Grogu, and,
Okay.
and he's going to help him. So,
Okay. And that'll be cool. I
Should
wouldn't
be.
mind that.
but
yeah.
again, like at this point, that means he's got to start talking,
yeah.
right? Because Yoda
And
talked.
and would that mean that if we keep going, because Favreau said he's going to keep making Mandalorians until he can't anymore, until he
Right.
loses interest in it. So are we going to have a Yoda, baby Yoda, Grogu that's 50 years older, and then 2 months later, when the next season of Mandalorian comes out, we're back
see
to
him
a
again.
baby
I love that.
Yoda again?
I'm fine with that.
Just two different timelines
mean, we
of
think
Yoda,
about- I
of
mean,
Grogu.
We've kind of seen that before.
Yeah.
Right, with like Clone Wars, we'll see like the old Anakin, and we know the new. So like,
True, yeah.
kind of cool to see.
That
Like,
would be- okay.
we saw the old Luke and the young Luke, kind of. so,
Yeah.
I don't
So,
know.
okay. All
Could be
right. That's
interesting.
good. It would be interesting. It would be fun.
It would make it like silly because then like anytime there's a threat to Grogu, you're like, all right, well he's gonna live.
Well,
so,
even now, anytime
yeah.
there's a threat to
yeah,
Grogu,
Grogu's gonna live.
he's
yeah.
going to live. It doesn't even matter.
They're
So
gonna kill him, and we're gonna cry.
we will. We'll be like, no.
No one saw it coming.
So then, Bo-Katan then decides she's going to unite everybody together by asking for a small recon party to go to Mandalore to find the Great Forge to rebuild Mandalore. And at first, no one wants to go. Then Din says, I'll do it. And then more continue, culminating with the armorer saying, I will go too.
And there was another scene in there that was pretty cool, and I think Star Wars Explained was talking about it, and I really liked the way he put it, because in the scene where, like, Ahsoka's like, oh, I can't lead these people. They're all...
No, Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, yeah. I can't lead these people. They hate each other, and I can't do it, and I made so many mistakes, and yada, yada. And the sword is not enough to, and he's like, I don't follow you because you have the sword. The sword doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, he said, I
follow
didn't know
you-
anything about the sword until you brought it
Yeah,
up.
I
So-
follow you because of honor. Which
yeah.
is, if you think back to the first time they met, literally she took off her helmet and his first words were, "You're not a Mandalorian."
You're not a Mandalorian. Yeah.
So it's showing growth in him because he's starting to realize that his view of everything that he learned is not the only view, and he's starting to accept it too.
Yes.
Which he didn't at the beginning.
No.
And it kind of shows that, oh, look, Mandalorians can be more than just that stupid little tradition that's going to drive us apart from each other.
Right. Right. So it was because, and like you said, he did say, and then he said, Lady Bo-Katan, I will follow you until the end,
Yep.
until whatever. So
And another reason why I like this show so much is because it's not the story of Din Djarin becoming the leader of the
Yeah.
Mandalorians. He's the Hedge Knight, and he is like helping this
Mhm.
bigger
Bigger
thing
cause,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah. And then when this is done, who knows? It could be another. But like, again,
Right.
it lends itself to this whole thing where we kind of were expecting, oh, Din's gonna be the master.
Din's gonna
of
be the leader. Yeah.
dark saber, but like it was clear from the start that the sword wasn't his.
Yeah, he
You know,
couldn't.
and
He couldn't control it
He's
from the
not
start.
supposed to be a leader. He's
Yeah.
supposed to, he's the guy who helps everyone. So
Yeah. And
anyway.
his reward for helping get Mandalore back is he'll get another Razor Crest,
yes, yeah, like better than before.
better than before.
With blackjack and hookers.
That's right. All the good things you need on a Razor
That's
Crest.
right.
Okay, so some of the Mandos still had the Death Watch insignia on their shoulders, which was cool. You
Yes.
saw when they were in the jump thing. I didn't understand why, especially since like they were gonna have to land the ship regardless. Why the Mandalorians needed to drop out of the bottom of the ship again, even though they were gonna land it. They knew that there was not that there was nothing down there, but they knew like they weren't infiltrating, they were just landing, and then the ship came down. Like I think the ship would have better armor on it than they would, so even if they were going down and there was
cool
something
looking.
there, it was cool looking. It was
At the end of the day, sometimes in Star Wars, that's all it's about.
that's all that matters is that it looks cool. So yeah, so that was that. And then while they're there, Bo-Katan talks about how the Darksaber was stolen from her the night of the 1,000 Tears.
Right.
This is
Due
when
to
they
treachery and
right before
thievery.
that when they get to the planet,
yeah,
they're
the
met with
pirate
a
ship.
big sail barge, a pirate ship.
Which I have a bone to pick with because it's cool. It's a pirate ship, Mandalorian, but like they've been on the surface of this planet flying this pirate ship for how many years?
Yeah.
And literally the day that these freaking douchebags join them, like a big lizard crushes their ship.
Right. They've had the ship for years, and then oh no, today's the
We
day.
just stumble on this lizard. Oh no!
Right, and like they've never seen a giant lizard like that before, where they knew what to do and how to get away from it. Suddenly, the first day, yeah. So that was a little weird.
That like again, that took me out a little bit. I'm like again, but that's just me being stupid. Like what regular listener is going? Oh yeah, that. Let's think about the past 20 years for these guys on this pirate ship. No.
Yeah. Chris wrote what he said. Until your song is written, he said to her. He said, I'll your song is not written yet. I will serve you until it is. Din says that to Bo.
That's another. Again, I see lots of parallels to George R.R. Martin and stuff because in his writing, a song is another word for a story. Right?
Okay.
When your song is written is another way to say when your story is told.
When your story is told.
Uh,
Well, maybe George R.R. Martin is helping out with this, considering he's not writing this book he's supposed to be writing.
Right.
He's
writing everything else.
He's writing everything else. He's helping out on Star Wars and
everything.
maybe he's on
making
Picard.
16
He's helping.
different spin-off shows.
Yeah, but not the book that
House
everybody's
of the Dragon,
waiting
House
for.
of the Monkey, House of the Wolf, House of the Rising Sun.
Nope.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So then she talks about as they're camped out there on the surface with the pirates people that show up about the Night of 1,000 Tears and how he said he would stop bombing if she would give over the Darksaber.
And of course, why would I not trust that guy?
Right, because he seems honorable.
Yeah.
So she gives him the Darksaber, and he continues to bomb.
You didn't realize I had my fingers crossed behind my back the whole time.
Tricked you. My fingers were crossed. Now I have the sword, and you don't. So then you find out how heartbreaking this is for Bo-Katan because
she feels like she's personally responsible for a lot of it.
And then I'm just reading what Chris wrote here.
Yeah,
also
I think we should just let Chris. Are you drinking tonight? I
know.
It. I mean, you got great stuff, but man, it's a wall of text. So he's talking about the spies. So I specifically am wondering who the spies were because we thought it might be Axe Woves.
Yes, that was one of the rumors.
Shoots out. That's what Pagan and I said right away. Oh, he's a spy. But it could be the weird little pirate mandos that were on the ground.
Oh, maybe they're spies.
Because if Moff Gideon was already there, then maybe he paid them off. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they knew. Hey, is that Lady Bo-Katan? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would they just know this lady's voice? Like, oh, is that random person we just ran into? Is that Bo-Katan? It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, and you're really far away.
So,
Maybe
it could be them.
Maybe it's them.
Maybe they were just
That's a
like,
good
hey,
choice.
we were told by Los Pollos Hermanos brother over there that you Bo-Katan might be coming. Is that you?
Is that
it's like,
you?
It's like when they're trying to serve a warrant. It's
Right.
like, are you Bo-Katan, Chris?
No.
Yes, I'm Bo-Katan. You've been served. Get out,
Get
guys.
out. No, it's not me. I lied. So then we're on the ship, and that's when you said the big thing with Paz and Axe Wolves are fighting over how to play chess.
Yeah.
No, you do it this way.
Wizard's chess.
Yeah, that's not how you do it. No, this is how you do it. And then there are, once again, as in true Mandalorian fashion, we have a big fight. Vibro blades are pulled out. Axe Wolves uses his jetpack as a tool, as a weapon, to help him move all over the place. It was a good fight scene. I liked it a lot, and nobody was breaking it up.
Let it play out, guys.
Let it play out. We'll see what happens. And then Grogu goes and steps in with his
no. It was adorable.
With his giant robot that can just grab both of them and hold on.
Well, it's cool too because they displayed, or they pretty clearly displayed earlier that the thing still has a lot of strength in it because he squoze that fruit and.
Oh yeah, we see him squeezing the fruit and stuff. Yeah,
but it does set the precedent that this thing still has strength and can. So yeah, it is.
And
cool.
that fruit we did see in Star Wars Rebels a lot. That's what Kanan and what's the young kid's name?
Steve.
Aladdin.
That's gonna annoy the hell out of me now.
What's his name? Chris. Quick, what's his name?
Chris will know.
He will know.
Ezra.
Yes. Ezra was always eating those fruits as well. It was the same fruit that they had in Rebels as well.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool. Yeah, we totally missed that whole scene. I forgot all about that, where he was walking through town and just grabbing all the fruit that he wanted to eat, and
he's like, "You have to pay for that."
Sorry. And then he grabbed something else, and he's like, "Fine, here you go."
Yeah.
So that was a pretty funny scene.
It was cool to see that play out in a way that had no consequence. It's so overdone for oh, you shouldn't eat that. Now I'm gonna be angry at you.
Yeah.
But it was so silly and fun that it was just like, yeah, I'll pay for that.
I'll pay
my
for
bad,
that.
bro.
Yeah, my bad. And I like his coin pouch is right on his belt. He doesn't even have pockets. He just has some coins here on his belt. Here,
it's his utility belt.
It's his utility belt.
Batman.
So then
Bob. Chris said Bob. That's
Bob.
it.
That was his name.
Bob.
That's right.
Bob the Jedi.
So then they're about to fight, and then of course the only person that stop it is a baby, and
but something that again, I watched Star Wars Explained a lot. If you don't check him out, you should. But he was saying and of course with all this malice and stuff, it's the youngest among us who are the wisest. And I'm like, no, it isn't. He's 50 years old.
He's 50 years old. Yeah,
he's not the youngest among us.
Because he's a baby, he's 50.
Everyone
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
It's the babies, I guess, was what we're saying. Babies know stuff.
Babies know stuff. Yeah, but then he says, Din says he didn't learn that from me, and he was basically saying that the peace and tranquility and stuff.
Maybe the Jedi
training
received,
taught him that. And then, as you said, the kaiju attacks them. The giant monster that is
a kaiju.
That's what the one
like a Godzilla,
like Godzilla kaiju. Yeah,
I see.
And they find attacks them, blows up their ship, and then they find the Great Forge.
Which is funny because if that's just a thing that exists on Mandalore, and mythosaurs are supposed to be this crazy big enormous dragon, like that you've gotten that just on the surface. How big is the mythosaur? For real, it must be enormous.
And I have it written down here somewhere where it says, it is the new Batman. Kind of like the. Oh no, that was a different kind of like. But there was.
No, go on. This is good radio.
It is good radio. Trapping. Oh darn it! I don't know where I wrote it. Maybe it's up here a little bit.
This is what happens when you take notes. You should.
I know. I should not take notes at all. Yeah. Anyway, but there was another. It was in Rebels also when they were bombing the planet, and bombing the planet released another giant monster. So in Star Wars planets, apparently there's big crevasses that giant monsters live underneath and hang out. Yeah,
waiting for someone to bomb and be like, all right, this is my time. This is my moment.
It was the same thing when when Bo-Katan saw the mythosaur.
Yep.
They said that.
The only reason
was there is from the bombing. It cracked open the planet or whatever, and mythosaurs live deep in the planet. Under the planet or whatever.
Under the planet. Anyway.
So so then the kaiju attacks. Then they find the Great Forge, and it's all destroyed, and they're all
not so great anymore.
No, not so great.
It's an okay forge.
so. It was a mid.
Yeah,
mid. The kids are saying mid.
Mids, which is so funny because they got that from weed terms.
Okay.
Like they're talking about mids. Like, oh, these aren't great. These are mids.
They're mids.
Like some of these kids probably never smoked.
They
weed.
know. They
Like,
have no
"Oh,
idea.
It's mid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So then as it's destroyed, they're looking around, and then a new bad Mandos show up in white, which reminded me a lot of the Mandos that followed the Empire in Rebels.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. They did have like stormtrooper Mando armor.
Yes.
And
yes.
these did have that sort of quality.
This sort of quality. Now, this was different because Grief Karga talked about how he was combining the best of all of
Not
the
Grief
different
Karga, the other one, Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
All of the different cultures that he has
The
taken
Jedi.
over.
Now, he mentioned the Jedi. So, like, I assume that's what he was trying to research Grogu for.
Right.
Right? And he's got the Mandalorian armor.
And he was working on cloning. We saw him walking past more cloning tubes, so I wonder if
he's one of those
the
Snoke,
troopers inside. I
Oh,
don't think
maybe
he's
they're
doing
clones.
Snoke, but I think the troopers are all
maybe.
clones.
And we also did see he requested Praetorian Guard.
Right.
Which, again, I'm really... I don't know, like, are they going to tell us more about what that means to be a Praetorian Guard?
or
Like,
how you become it. All you know is that the Praetorian Guards, they're the
are they
ultimate
like
guards.
Maybe they're the new, like, Inquisitors? You know what I mean?
Kind of. They were also in with Rey. They were the ones that Rey and Kylo were
Right.
fighting.
And so, like, if you think about, like, between, like, after the Clone Wars, before the Empire fell,
Right.
the Inquisitors were, like, the Force wielders and the big enforcers.
The
of
big
Darth Vader.
enforcers, yeah.
So, like, maybe in this era, post-Empire, like,
The-
the
yeah.
Praetorian Guard are, like, they fill that spot.
They're like the Green Berets.
Yeah.
They're like the best of the best.
And in
The Navy
like,
SEALs.
expanded universe before the Disney takeover, the Imperial Guard, the red clad
Right.
guys, they were Force sensitive.
Oh,
Like, They
okay.
were trained in the Force, so
Okay.
like it would stand to reason that these dudes are maybe like in a similar fashion,
Yeah.
either clones of like Force users, because one of the heir to the Empire main sub things is like the old dude with the lightsaber in the trailer.
Okay.
Like apparently there's an old dude who is like a clone of a Jedi Master who is like evil.
Oh.
And so like maybe like those are clones of fallen Jedi that
Okay.
are like used as Praetorian Guard or something like that. It could
That's
be kind of
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Or else maybe they're just like in the Inquisitors, they're like fallen Jedi or fallen Force users that
Yeah.
were made to be bad dudes.
Very cool. I don't know, but they're the cream of the crop. They're the best of the best. Whether they're Force users or not, I'm not really sure, but they are the top dogs there.
Yep.
And then so he and it was funny because they were like, "Oh, what do you want these 3 Praetorian Guards for? Are you afraid of your life or whatever?" And it was interesting because he knew even just him against Mando, even with the Beskar armor. He knew he wasn't going to be able to beat Mando by himself, so he knew he needed somebody who was better than him to beat Mando.
Yep.
So they chase all these white clones, white
Clad stormtroopers,
stormtrooper, bounty hunter,
Beskar, whatever.
What Beskar wearing armor, fighting people.
Are they Death Troopers? Is that what they were calling them?
He said that they were
'Cause the Death
the
Troopers-
latest version of his Death Troopers.
Right.
Yes.
So, because the last Death Troopers were droids. So, again, maybe these are clones.
Right, because he's taking it up the next notch.
Yeah.
But the clones, it was like they did.
Wouldn't
say
it be great if at one point they take it out and it's literally like Tamura Morrison, and like they like took clones and like they somehow tie in Bad Batch into it. And,
Yeah.
Like maybe they capture freaking what's her name Omega and like they start cloning her for use and like man.
Well,
anyway.
have you haven't been watching the season of the
No.
Bad Batch, have you? I just watched the last couple episodes that I missed, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like you really need to watch it.
All right, I'll have to get on it.
So anywho, back to these guys.
These guys right here.
These guys. So these guys, their armor segments aren't quite big enough and covering enough. Maybe he
They couldn't
wanted.
get enough Beskar.
He couldn't get enough Beskar.
Well, it's typical like government issue crap. They're
Yeah.
gonna, what's gonna get made is not the best quality. It's whoever gets the bid.
Right,
It's a
right.
government bid
Yeah.
contract, and really
So-
thin. It's Beskar alloy, sure, but it's really thin.
It's
and they
thin,
don't get good
yeah.
coverage.
Yeah, so it didn't cover enough because if you hit the Beskar, it would deflect it, but there was a lot of open area that was.
Essentially, the Beskar just covered their nipples,
That's right.
right? And the rest,
And their shoulders, because you
Yeah.
need to protect your shoulders.
yeah.
but your forearms and your
Not necessary.
biceps not necessary.
Everyone knows that you get shot in the nipple, you're dead.
You're dead. You're dead in the
Can't,
nipple.
can't recover from that.
So they were all getting shot, whatever, and then they split everybody up somehow. They got Mando by himself, and then they captured Mando.
And meanwhile, like as they're like capturing Mando, I'm like, you could be.
Bo-Katan could be using it to cut through the door.
But no, let's wait for Mando to be taken away before we start that.
Yeah, we'll do the other door getting out.
Yeah, we won't go get him.
And we'll leave Mando getting
fun,
caught.
buddy.
Yeah, bye, Din. It was nice that Kyle, you're with your shiny armor. You deserve to get caught.
They're gonna take his helmet off. We're gonna see his face again. I thought they were gonna take it off there. Honestly, I was like, oh, they're gonna take his helmet off.
Oh, that would have been great. But the armor wasn't there, so it would have been like heartbreaking for her. Oh, speaking of the armor, Tom said that there's a rumor that she is the guy who ran Death Watch.
Tar Vizsla.
No. The red and black
Darth
face.
Maul.
Darth Maul. What is Darth Maul? What species is he?
Zabrak.
Yes. The rumor is that she's a Zabrak also.
Could be.
Which
She could
is
be a
why
Night Sister.
Which is why she has the horns.
So, but so I've been hypothesizing for a while that they're a Force user.
Right, you've been saying that forever, that
I've-
she's a Force user.
I've also really been wanting them to bring Night Sisters back into the world because here's this amazing, really cool like version of the Force that we've never seen before. We've only seen it in a cartoon.
Yeah.
And they brought it back in. I'm really interested to see what they do with it in the new video game because like they brought us to Dathomir in Jedi Fallen Order, and like we get a Night Sister as like a friend and following companion. So I think it'd be cool if like maybe that was a Night Sister and like she became a Mandalorian.
And even one of the books,
because Dathomir was decimated.
Yes.
So it could be
in
that
Star Wars Galaxies there was Dathomir, and when you went there were Night Sister clans all over the place.
Yep.
And they were super powerful.
Yep. So I don't know. It'd be cool to see that like actually play out in live action, and then like start to get into the more like mystical side of the Force, since they did really. There's kind of leaning into some of that more.
Right. But they also talked a little bit more in this episode. I think it kind of debunks it a little bit because they said something about, "Are you Death Watch?" And she said Death Watch no longer exists.
So but I think that
but
like
she could have been in Death Watch
I
at
think
one
clearly
point.
like she was Death Watch, and that's why they asked her because of the horns.
Because of the horns.
And she was clearly.
Yeah.
Like I think that was like the point is like, yeah, I was, but like I'm not because Death Watch is dead.
Death Watch is dead, and now we're.
If anything, I think that was confirmation that she was in Death Watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they asked that because they saw the horns.
They saw the horns.
And they saw that they're called the Children of the Watch.
Right.
Right. And so like they're clearly descended from them, but
Yeah.
they're not them.
Yeah. So I it would be cool if she was some sort of Force user. That would be a lot of fun. I would like that as well. So then the armor, the fight. There's a lot of fighting going on. Mando gets to use his flamethrower again, which was good because it's not a good episode unless there's a flamethrower
I don't think we've
in it.
seen it yet this season.
We saw them training with flamethrowers, but we didn't see Mando using his flamethrower. I was a little disappointed that it's taken this many episodes to get to see it, but we did see it again. Yep. And then Gideon shows up with his own super black super trooper Mandalorian style
he's
armor.
Iron Man.
He's Iron Man. He came flying down like with his arms out.
Warmonger, right?
Warmonger.
Yeah. First one?
Yeah. And his helmet has the spikes on it, or has different types of spikes on it also. And he comes down, and Gideon is once again he's saying that Mandalore is his basically, and
hey, give me that sword, bro.
Give me that sword.
Like, nah.
No, I did that once.
Nah.
I'm not doing it again. I'm not falling for your tricks.
Listen, it'll be fine this time. Don't worry. It'll be good.
Fool me once and call me a fool.
Just call me
Fool
Sally
me twice
Brown.
and no
or
thank
Sally,
you.
What's her name?
I don't
Sally
know.
from Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah, well Sally to Charlie Brown, where she
What
keeps
was
picking
Sally's
up.
last name?
I don't know if Sally had a last name.
I'm sure she had a last
I'm
name.
sure she had a last name. I don't know what it was.
Anyway,
that is the question for tonight. What is Sally's last name from
not
Charlie
Brown.
Brown? Not
it
Brown.
was Lucy Brown.
It was Lucy. Yeah, that was Charlie's sister. So he he's like, give me the sword. She says no. And instead of going to save Din Djarin,
Let's go,
save
guys.
Kyle, we're going to sneak out the back door. You stay there all tied up, and,
Yep.
and we'll sneak out the back
And then
door.
she just decided, like, I don't know what she was thinking when she decided, hey, come with me. She didn't even carve the hole big enough for him to get through.
No, Paz could not fit through that hole. That
Like-
hole was too small for Paz Vizsla.
Like, you couldn't have just taken the extra 4 seconds.
Yeah,
and made
to make it a little
slightly
bit bigger.
You're making
He-
a circle.
He looked at the circle and he was like, I guess I'll
die.
stay here.
Guess I'll die.
I guess I'll die. So then they open the door and he's blasting everybody so much, as we
Which
briefly
is
talked
funny.
about before.
Like, okay, so the one dude stayed behind and killed 1 billion people.
Right.
Imagine if all of them just
if
decided
all of
to
you
stay
stayed,
behind.
you could have all survived.
Yep.
It was. It reminded me a lot of the original Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sure.
There was one guy who was might have even been Jesse Ventura, who had the Gatling gun.
The body.
Jesse the Body Ventura. But one of the guys had a Gatling gun, and it was almost the same situation where he's trying to shoot the Predator, and Predator's invisible, and he's just firing away with this Gatling gun so much so that the barrel heats up and melts, and it stops working, and then the Predator goes and kills him.
Sure.
And this was the same exact thing, but it was cool. Like the whole
Why
thing lit
reinvent
up.
the wheel when you can just-
when a great story already exists. But he took out almost all of them until your what are they called?
Praetorian Guard.
The Praetorian
But
Guard
again,
show
just
up.
imagine 3 Praetorian Guard versus, I don't know, 25 Mandalorians
Yeah,
their full gear.
In their full gear, and even with when they captured Mando, they're like, remove all his armor, and they're like popping things
They
off
just,
of
like,
his
grab his
forearms.
whistling
Whistling
bluebirds and
bluebirds
stuff.
popped off, and this popped off, and that popped off, and all these they all have the bat suits with 1,000 different gadgets on it. Like,
Go gadget.
yeah,
Get me out of here.
get me out of here, weapon. So they could have probably defeated the 3 Praetorian Guards. Would they have some casualties? Maybe, but at least nobody would have been captured.
You know what casualty they'd have? Praetorian Guards.
Praetorian Guards, yeah, and then they have awesome armor and
Oh, man. I
and
bet
those
they have
really
Beskar
cool
armor.
purple, yeah, and those really cool purple glowing sticks that were
Are decidedly not lightsabers.
not lightsabers.
It's like, hey, we can't give these guys lightsabers, but like, let's give them like
a stick
stick.
with a glowing light on it that's
Yeah.
not necessarily a
it
lightsaber.
can stab right through their neck though.
Yeah.
Like, zzz, zzz. Yeah.
Really, really cool.
And then it can be like nunchucks. Be great.
And Paz Vizsla had the claw on the guy's neck the whole time as he was dying. Urgh. But don't worry, there's Baby Paz. We have him also.
Good old baby Paz.
Good old Baby Paz. So then
I will
that's
avenge my father.
I will. So that's pretty much. It ends with the
His smoking and charred remains.
yes, the end of Paz Vizsla.
Yeah. House
So-
Vizsla will live on. Again, Clan Vizsla was the very beginnings of, the dark saber.
Yes.
So a storied house.
Will Jon Favreau come back as a different Mandalorian that they pick up later on in the?
Could be like in Scrubs when they killed off Laverne because they thought they were going to be canceled, but then they weren't, so they brought Laverne back, and the main character called her Laverne again.
Laverne again.
They reminded him of Laverne.
Oh, the first Laverne.
Yeah.
Or it could be worse, like Saved by the Bell when they finished the season, and I guess it was a similar situation where they thought that was going to be the end of the season, so they had a big like prom and everything like that, and like graduation or whatever. But then they picked up a whole other season, so 2 of the characters didn't come back for the new season, so they had to get different characters. But then the last episode was back with the original cast. And we're like, wait, what just happened? Like, what is going on here?
This is such a Gen X problem.
It is a problem. It's when you get addicted to caffeine pills.
That's it.
This is
I'm so
what-
excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm so scared.
I can't. I'm so scared.
And that's the end of our episode.
There you go, and that's it. And so that was the end of Mandalorian with a bunch of other things thrown in there.
Yeah.
But it definitely builds up for a great finale.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I know Chris has had some issues with several of the episodes recently this season. I know he loved this episode. I think that this episode, like Mandalorian, every season is a slow burn, So I feel like this will hopefully make a lot of people who were like frustrated go, okay, this was what this was building to. But
he did say, can we talk about the fight scenes on the cliff? It was awesome, but half of the kills were kicking or punching the enemy off the cliff. everyone has jump packs, which is
That
true.
doesn't matter anymore.
No, once you get pushed off a cliff, once you're upside down, your jump pack doesn't work anymore.
Because imagine falling and like you go, okay, I'm gonna use this, and you just
It
hit
just
your
sends
jump
you
pack and
straight
just
back down.
like neck into the floor.
Yep. So
I bet that's
why.
how a lot of these people died. Is they tried to use their jetpacks.
And how funny was it when Mando was just running through the hallway, just like body slamming everybody that was in the way? Like, it would have been great if it was like Jesse the Ventura or You Can't See Me. What's his name?
Oh, who was that? John Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Like John Cena or The Rock. If The Rock was in Star Wars, he would be
Yeah.
doing that. Like, it would just that would make it funny. But yeah, everybody did get pushed off, even though they have jump packs on. I agree with that. And he says, if you fall off, you need to go to the other end of the room until someone catches the dodgeball.
That's right.
Yes.
You're out.
You're out. All right, you're out. You got to go over there
Sorry,
until
guys,
somebody
I got
else.
knocked off.
Once somebody from the other side gets knocked off,
You're
then
back
you can
in.
come back
That's
in.
it.
Yeah.
I was always that guy. I was always just waiting to get back in. I was like,
Oh my
"Come on,
gosh! At practice today, at the end we decided to have some fun, so we played kickball.
man." we had done volleyball, and then we decided let's have fun.
Let's have fun. Yeah, we wanted to do something different for the last half hour. So instead of
We had
playing
fun.
volleyball, we had fun. We played kickball.
All right.
So many kids don't know the rules of baseball. Like, somebody kicked it in the air. This happened 12 times at least. If you catch the ball, you have to go back and tag up. Like in
Yeah, they
baseball,
don't-
you have to
they
go
don't understand
tag up and then
tagging
go
up.
again. Now the one kid, I will give the one kid, he's foreign. He's from Poland. He says,
Probably not a lot of
baseball in Poland. So
sure.
I understand him not knowing
It
it.
is America's pastime.
Right, but everybody else, I'm like, really? You've never watched a baseball game? You
Or
don't
you've
know
never
any
been,
of the rules?
I don't know, how about in a PE class in
Yeah.
your life?
Yeah,
Like
so
how many times in PE is it just kickball?
just
Give me a
kickball.
break.
Yeah, I mean, and they got to do it all the time.
In
so
middle school, it's like
it's like 4
3/4
months of the year. Yeah, it's
like
the whole
kickball.
winter.
And
yeah.
like, and when you have a sub, it's like, can we play kickball?
Yeah,
Let's play kickball.
Let's play kickball. So it was pretty funny, but whatever.
So that's our episode review. We have one more episode that wraps up season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yes. What grade would you give this one? I would give this definitely an
A.
A. Yeah.
Solid A.
Solid
Not
A.
A minus.
Nope. Solid A.
There was no moment of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's like a cameo, but like it was just a good episode.
It was a
Like,
good
it didn't
episode.
need any
It
of
didn't
that.
need cameos. Didn't need anybody special because we got Moff Gideon. We got the big lead up to the finale, to the big fight for Mandalore. There was one part that was pretty funny when they were all running to escape, and Mando says to Grogu in his IG-12 costume, he's like, "All right, you got to keep up."
Yep.
And they're all like bolting, and it's like, zzz, zzz,
Yep.
zzz, zzz.
Them the weird, for whatever reason, the legs don't move. All
The
that,
legs
like,
don't
they're
move
very
that well.
rigid.
Yeah.
But of course, he's like, it's great for him. They're all working hard. He's just like, whatever.
He's just like, I got two joysticks. I
Yep.
can just keep
man.
walking. So it was
I
awesome.
want one of those.
Yeah, man, it'll be a lot
That's
of fun.
gonna be a great Halloween costume.
Yes,
This year.
Grogu in the IG-11. Yeah,
My daughter. I'm already planning.
there you go.
I'm gonna be IG-11 or IG-12.
You'll be
She's gonna
IG-12.
be Grogu.
Yeah.
Um,
Boom.
Just wait. October. She'll be 1 year old at that point.
There you go.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good times.
Anyway,
Anyway.
catch us on the social medias. Check out our show next week when we do the final episode
The
of
final
the season.
episode of Mandalorian.
Make sure you try Stargazer pink chocolate strawberry
Raspberry,
cheesecake,
blueberry
razzmatazz.
cheesecake, cream watercolors by
Creamy,
Skygazer Brewing
Yeah, it's
Company.
really tasty.
It's
oddly enough.
interesting. It was good. I did not mind it at all. I
Yeah,
liked
you
it.
got through the whole glass.
I did. I drank the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did. It was delicious.
At Shake and Bake, and I helped. But from us back behind Ears Up headquarters in our little bunker of a trailer,
That's
we
right.
have spoken.
We have spoken.